So a lot of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, as well as, efficiency and some of the things that I personally use and are just incredibly useful to have. I wanted to talk to you guys about like just basic safety things, because this is kind of geared towards the female hunter who's going to be going out there on her own. Maybe she doesn't have a mentor. Maybe she doesn't have, someone to kind of tag along with. And some of these things are so common sense that we forget. And I kind of just want to put it all out there for you guys. What's really important to consider. The phrase, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it comes to mind pretty consistently when I talk about, loading my backpack full of gear and getting ready to go in the woods. So later in the season, for those of us who are in some colder climates, I see one of my friends from Texas has joined, and I'm very excited for that. She might not experience this as much as we do in the Northeast, but extra layers. Personally, I've been the tough guy. I've tried. I have said, oh, I'm gonna walk out there and everything will be fine. It's a high of 30 degrees. I'm gonna be sitting in the sun. It'll be okay. Walk out there and all of a sudden it's like a freak snowstorm, or it starts raining, or there's a lot more cloud cover than you anticipated, or maybe silly me, that stand was in the sun up until 11 a.m. and now it's in the shade and I'm shivering. Always, 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 I don't care how warm you think it's going to be, it is better to have that extra layer, that extra jacket, the gloves, any of that stuff. Super important, because especially if we're out there by ourselves, we're alone, anything can happen. You don't want to become a popsicle. Please pack an extra layer. Also, from a practical sense, if you don't have that extra layer, you're shivering. And if you're shivering, you're giving away your position. You're blowing your cover completely, because if a deer can't see the colors that you're wearing against whatever gradient you're sitting up against, if you're sitting up against a tree, a rock, a ground blind, any of that stuff, your movement is what's going to get you picked off, and the deer will see you. That being said, I am focusing most of this on deer hunting. I know there are quite a few of us interested in turkey hunting, which is upcoming as well. Maybe we'll have something more for you at a later date about that. I also want to say, as well as bringing extra layers, be smart about layering up if you have long walks. I won't wear my topmost layer if I know that I have a long walk into the woods. Because again, if we sweat too much, doesn't matter how much deodorizing or cover scent we use, that's going to start to, the bacteria on our skin is going to start to create that odor. And we might not notice it, but a deer's nose is so much more sensitive than we are. I'm also going to say on the subject, I have my entire contents of my backpack strewn about in front of me right now. It's actually kind of comical just how much stuff this is. But hot hands are super warmers, adhesives. They do make products now that are like heated vests and things like that. I know I should buy once, cry once, and just get it over with and bite the bullet. But until then, I will continue to stick adhesive patches on my back, on my shoulders if I'm bow hunting, right? Keeping this part of your body warm so that your muscles don't tense is very important. They also make toe warmers too. I know it's true of any of us who know anyone in the armed forces or anything like that, or maybe from a wild night out on the town. When your feet go, that's it. When your feet get cold, when your feet start to hurt, if anything goes wrong with our feet, we're done. So making sure that you can keep your feet warm when you're out there and comfortable is also very important. My partner will tell you that he will wear dress socks under heat locker or wool socks as a moisture wicking technique, which is brilliant, something I probably never would have thought of. Some other things to consider. I like to carry a headlamp. And your headlamp is useful for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's hands-free. So if you are climbing up into a tree, can't see where you're going, maybe it rained the night before, maybe it's raining the day that you're climbing in, and those steps or those climbing sticks are slippery enough. This is kind of going to light your way and make it easier for you to get up the tree or to your destination safely. I also do recommend having another flashlight on hand because batteries do die. So having a backup is very important. Our cell phones now, some of those flashlights are so great that they also become a backup to the backup. Always have some sort of charging mechanism with you, right? This is very important, especially if we're hunting places that don't have the best cell phone service. That will drain your battery. And if you're out there by yourself, like so many of us are or will be, that can get very, very dangerous very quickly. If something happens, we fall, you know, up near us. I'm in New York, just about an hour and a half or so outside of New York City. Putting yourself out there in a space where there's coyotes, there's rattlesnakes, there's black bears, you know, and not to scare anyone with that, but to have you be prepared in case you do encounter stuff like that. I have a couple of anecdotes about my dad, who is on the call today as well. Dad will carry an air horn because he does hunt a patch of public land that is thick with black bears. I think he had more encounters with black bears this year than he did with deer. So that's something to consider as well. If you're hunting areas like that, a lot of the time when we're deer hunting, we're also predator hunting kind of by proxy because they're going after the deer as well. So it's kind of only natural that if we're in that space, they are as well.